Hi, I'm Ed Alexander, attorney with Alexander Abramson. This is video 4 of our how much to pay part of our Guide to Buying a Business video series. In video 3, we talked about some of these. I want to go into the issue of down payment. One of the themes that's in the Guide to Buying a Business is that buying a business is much different than buying real estate, whether that's a home or an investment property. And again, the reason for that is because real estate has inherent value. So even if that real estate isn't throwing off cash flow, there's a lot of value retaining in that business. When it comes to a business itself, there is little or no value if the business is not throwing off SDE. All right, so when we look at the issue of financing the purchase of a small business, the down payment necessary for that is much, much higher than it would be for, say, a residential real estate. So if you were to get into real estate, you put 10 or maybe 20% down on a home and you could get a loan. Whereas with a business, it would be unlikely that you'd get a loan with those rates. Sometimes some SBA loans can provide that, but even then it might be suspect, right? And so you can look at a down payment might be 30, 40, 50% of the overall purchase price. That's a risk factor for the lender, but it's also an issue with debt service coverage. So a lender, when they look at the business, they're going to look and say, hey, what cash is being thrown off into this business? What is the monthly payment that's going to have to be made by the owner of that business after they purchase? And do we have enough cash to both cover the expenses of the business, to pay a reasonable salary to the owner, and then also to cover the debt service? And that debt service, it could be as low as 1, so enough cash flow exactly equal to what the debt payment is going to be on the business, or it could be high as 2. Whatever the debt is, 2 times is what has to come out of that seller's discretionary earnings. As a result, both of those factors play into the down payment being much, much higher in buying a business than it would be in buying real estate. Now, down payment is the only thing you have to worry about, because in doing, we'll talk about the structure in a future video, but when we do this, oftentimes, almost all the time in these sub $2 million deals, the owner is going to take all of their cash out of that business. So you're going to have to fund that business for 30 or 60 or even as much as 90 days before that cash flow starts coming to you. And so you need to be able to supply that amount of cash to get in. So when you're looking at the financial statements, you can see how much cash the business has been using in terms of the expenses, and then you can estimate what your cash needs are going to be, both for the down payment and then also to fund the business for a period of time. That debt service coverage ratio is important even if you don't get financing, because frankly, you need a return on your investment out of the business. So if you're buying this business cash, you should be getting a discount because you're paying all cash and reducing the risk of the seller. But you also need to be looking at what's the risk that you're taking in buying this business and what's your total return on that capital that you invested. It should reflect that level of risk. Thank you.